Hello, everyone. My name is Sarah Sadouk, and I'm part of the Create App Championship Committee. It is a pleasure and honor for me to be here with you all because I know you all are here with one goal in mind, which is to win the competition, but also learn more about how to develop your idea and prototype along the way. Today is the first edition of the series of workshops that will be running during the competition. And the goal of these workshops is for you to get all the tools and the knowledge to help you develop your mobile app idea, but also your prototype. This year, we've included a little bit more of AI support. So throughout the different workshops, you will be receiving insights on how to use AI to develop your mobile app idea and your idea itself. I'm joined by Hessa Luta, who is part of the Dubai Chamber of Digital Economy and leading the Create App Championship, as well as Carmen and Mariam, who are part of the Create App Championship team. We are here to support you, and it is our pleasure to provide you the knowledge that will set you up for success. I'm joined by incredible facilitator, Elmo, Christina, and Andrea, that you will discover a little bit later during this workshop. So without further ado, let me tell you a bit more about the Create App Championship if you're not familiar. The Create App Championship is a global competition that is led by the Dubai Chamber of Digital Economy and was launched by His Highness Sheikh Hamdan bin Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum. And the goal of this competition is to position Dubai as a global hub for mobile app development. So we are not telling you only to come to Dubai, but we are also nurturing you to have the tools to be successful in this city. Last year, the competition attracted more than 4,710 people from 132 countries, and we received the support from 84 mentors that help our participants develop and their idea, their business model, but also the prototype. We, in total, received 340 prototype and pitch deck that were evaluated by judges, which help us define His Highness Sheikh Hamdan himself. He came and listened to the pitch of the 12 teams at the finals, and he awarded the 4 finalists. In another word, the Create App Championship is here to help you bring your idea to life. Next. So in terms of what you will get, now you signed up to the competition and well done for that. Now it's time to prepare your pitch deck and to prepare your prototype. So you are receiving an access to an exclusive community. Go please on HowSpace, have a look at the self-paced learning modules, live workshop dates, pin it in your calendar, because we're going to be with you until December, until the submission date. By November 11, you'll have an access to mentors on the platform. So your role and your job will be to book those mentorship sessions. And last but not least, if you make it to the semifinal, we'll be providing you pitch training, intense pitch training, just like Shark Tank, that will help you pitch like a pro on stage and receive either the investors' interest or make it to the final and win. Next. So the competition has been launched at the Expand North Star on the 13th of October, where we had the pleasure to receive the 4 winners. By the way, they all launched the app. All of them have launched the app. So we'll drop on the chat box their name, and you'll be able to download the app if you wish. So it was launched officially on the 13th of October, and since then we are receiving application. Next. Now, in terms of, before we jump into the workshop itself, in terms of timeline, I just want to give you key dates. From now until November, so you'll be receiving workshops, live workshop every Wednesday from now until the 4th of December. On the 10th of December, if you have shared this opportunity with your friends and family, the 10th of December is the deadline where they can enter the platform that you're part of. If you register as an individual, it is essential that all your team members register through the same form you register to have access to the platform. On the 15th of December is when we are requesting you to submit your final pitch deck and prototype. Now, if you have advanced and you're ready, you will be able to submit it from the 11th of November. On the same date, 11th of November, you'll be able to book your mentors. If you have any question, please feel free to join us during the weekly calls every Thursday. The link is on the platform itself, and this is where we are going to be answering all your questions related to the competition. Of course, we will be also registering answering your question via the chat today if you have. Now, without further ado, let me introduce you to the fantastic team who will be providing you the workshop today. So Christina, Andrea, and Elmo are the facilitator of the Create App Championship. And you will see, after this session, you'll have an open mind and you'll have a lot of knowledge to apply on a daily. Welcome, Christina. The floor is yours.
Thanks so much, Sarah. And yeah, from our side as well, welcome to this workshop. We're really excited that you're all here. Really excited to explore some ideas or the app ideas that you have so far. Just ahead before we start, so the session will be interactive. We'll work with Mentimeter. We'll ask you a few questions to share in the chat. Maybe one or two of you can also share some ideas that you have or your pitch. We'll be using AI. If you have any questions, like Sarah said, please put them in the chat. We'll answer them. We'll have a 5-minute break as we go to, stretch your legs, get a coffee. And while we do that, we would ask you please to make sure that your microphones are on mute. If you do have a question, either put in the chat, raise your hand, and we'll get to it when there are times for questions. So yeah, without further ado, here again, the recap on the dates that Sarah just mentioned. So yeah, today we're really in the discovery phase of explore your idea. And as we'll go along, we'll continue to shape the idea, bring it really to life, do more user research, iterate it, look on UX and UI design, testing, service blueprinting. So really that at the end of this process, you'll have a solid pitch and a solid prototype that you can submit. Of course, there will be expert coaching and mentoring along the way. So you're all good. So yeah, before we start, we really want to take some time again to iterate on what is actually the end goal. What is it that we actually want to deliver, or what we want you guys to deliver by December 15th? And it's these 4 things. So first of all, of course, we have this app business model canvas. So we want you guys to really have a very clear, differentiated, and focused value proposition. What is the product or the service, the idea of your app that you're actually selling? We want to have an MVP, so really a minimum viable product with an underlying business model. So making sure that it's really feasible and viable. Next to that, we need a service blueprint from you. So really a fundamental clickable prototype that we can test and that we can try out. And last but not least, we want you to show and demo your app in a really interesting, high energy pitch that you'll film yourself with a presentation in the background and a 2-minute demo of your app. So I hope that this canvas is meanwhile all familiar to you. So this is the app business model canvas. With the different areas, what you'll be asked and to fill out also during in the submission with different sections, and throughout these 6 webinars and workshops, we'll really tap into all of these areas. So don't worry if you don't have everything answered right now, but with time, you will have all these answers prototyped and iterated and figured out, at least by the end of this entire session. We also have a pitch canvas, and as you see, there are some colors here that match with the other one, And this is sort of the skeletal structure of what we really expect you guys to pitch on. So what do we want to see? We want an introduction, understand what is your story? What is your personal story that drives your narrative? What is the challenge that you're trying to solve? What are the current solutions that exist in the market? What is your solution and what is its really main benefit and USP? What is your plan to really scale it? What's the market potential to make it big? And what is really your next steps and your vision to do this? Of course, then you need to conclude your pitch in a really interesting and exciting way. And here we really ask you to, have a very concrete, very focused ask, have a promise, have that clear vision outline, what, if you get that ask answered, what you will do with it, and really have a round ending. So we want a good hook, a really excellent middle body with a lot of facts, with a 2-minute demo, and a very clear, compelling request at the end. So yeah, maybe now, question to you guys, maybe just, post in the chat. Has anyone ever done a pitch before? Okay, we had a first no. Okay, a lot of people have pitched. Has anyone not pitched beforehand?
That's awesome.
Yeah. Okay, someone said yes, a lot. Great, some no's. Okay, so we also have here a lot of expertise. The people who said yes, have you ever pitched an app idea beforehand? Is that something, yeah, that's new to you, or what have you guys pitched?
Yes.
Yeah, nice. No. Okay, a lot of mixed answers. Maybe then another follow-up question. What do you guys think makes a good pitch from your experience? So as we had a lot of people here having pitched before, and just maybe put it in the chat as well. See where in your idea and where in your experience, what really constitutes an excellent pitch. Confidence, passion, solving a problem. Definitely having a very solid delivery, having a story. 100 of Shark Tank episodes count. Yes. Energy, emphasizing the needs for confidence. Yeah, the problem is the most important, in my opinion. Compelling promise of value. Those are all really, really excellent answers. We've summarized it as well, and as you'll see, we have a pretty strong match here. So if we really distill down the key ingredients of a really good pitch, you want to have a personal story. Often we know this as the quote unquote founder's story, right? So you as a person have a problem, or you know someone in your life that's close to you that has this problem that you really want to solve. You want and you need that compelling hook, that opening to get the investors or the judge's attention. It has to be clear and relatable. It needs to be understandable what you want to say and what you want to get around. If you only have 5 minutes, every word matters. It has to be highly crafted. You need to have focus, and you need to keep that red thread to keep everyone hooked and entertained. It needs to be surprising, inspiring, engaging, high energy. It has to be believing and convincing, right? So you want the judges to believe in you guys as a team, that you guys have the key tools and the ingredients, the knowledge to solve this, to develop this idea. It has to be authentic, and it has to be easy to say yes, because that is, right, the end goal. That's what you want. So there has to be a very clear ask. Good. So here again, also some more tips on how to build your pitch. So if you really distill it also again down into what you want to bring across within your audience, if we now apply, so to say, this outside in perspective that we know from Garage Method or from design thinking, we need to put ourselves in the position of our audience, right? In the position of the judges. We want to engage them. So there has to be some kind of emotion that comes up. We want them to think about it and to influence them. So we want to persuade them. And there has to be an ask, right? So I want to motivate them very clearly to do something. In this case, it is to, you know, prove your idea, bring it forward, allow you to pitch live and to win, and then develop your idea. And of course, the key is for this is to practice, practice, practice until you really have that amazing Shark Tank level pitch. So we thought, why don't we just do that right now? Everyone either take a piece of paper or your laptop, what you have ready, and just start writing down your pitch as you would have it right now of your app idea. And we would say for these points, just put down one sentence. And this will be for, so to say, your first pitch prototype. Let me start the timer as well for this. Timer. There we go. Okay, 2 more minutes to go. And ideally, we would also ask one very brave person to read out their 10 sentences, their first prototype pitch. Final minute.
Use of is done.
Most of this done. Perfect. That was beautiful. All right. Does anyone want to share their pitch, prototype, their first version, so to say, and just read it to everyone? Or, yeah, of course, you can also just dump it in the chat, just to share your first version.
Yeah, Fieldman.
Okay,
Yeah. Fieldman wants to go.
Fieldman wants to go. Awesome. Fieldman, let's see, can we unmute you or can you just type your, there we go. Hey, how are you
Okay.
doing?
I'm very good. How are you?
Really good. Okay.
Excellent. Okay. I'll go for it. So, life offers us all many challenges, whether it's with our health, our wealth, mental state, or spiritual well-being. At present, there are many apps within the market that tackle these four pillars individually, whether it's Headspace, Calm, fitness trackers, or educational wealth apps, etc. My app, My Masters app, will offer a holistic approach which covers the four pillars using the characters from my book, which I wrote a few years ago, named My Masters. The book has four characters: the Mental Marvel, the Elf Highlander, the Soul Sorcerer, and the Wealth Wonder. And each of those will be an AI coach helping the users to improve these pillars of their life. They will provide guidance, interaction, and also the user with the ability to make their own narratives and stories in this app through their actions in that app. The next stage is for me to develop this app out with some support and take it to market and make it as big as possible. That's my pitch for now. I know that was very short. Well, I wanted to keep it short and sweet for everybody. I hope you enjoyed, and I look forward to talking to you.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you also for going first. Elias, do you also want to give it a go?
Yes, I can go. Okay. Sorry, I'm a little bit sick, so my voice won't be great. Okay. So I start now. First, the introduction. As an Arab, I always been shocked how badly we are represented in movies and games. As a game lover, I really want to change that narrative. And that's why we came up with this challenge to create memorable games that will spread the beautiful stories of our regions. Let's be the hero of our own stories. So the current solution we see, for example, game like Wukong, that is spreading Chinese beautiful story and became a very huge hit. Also, Expedition 33 from France, that has some culture of France in the game that becomes a huge hit. So there are some current solution showing an appealing of new stories from the gamers. Our solution is named Legacy of Pearl. It's a magical world in UAE during the time of the Pearl businesses. We will fight magical monsters from the local folks and many, many more. The main benefit is that we will expand the culture through a new media, generate great revenue in gaming industry. That is, by the way, the bigger it's a bigger industry than the music and cinema both combined. It's a very huge industry. And about making it big, I want to make the region shine culturally and economically in gaming, to shine around the world, not only stay there, but like to expose the image of UAE. And I want the UAE to become a headquarter of gaming industry. How about the status? We already have a full game design document ready, a beautiful story. We released another game few months ago, so we mastered the whole process. And that's why I was asking if it has to be mobile or not. And we are just starting the prototype. So in terms of timing, it's perfect. I didn't finish the other points asked, promise, and summary, but basically that's the idea.
All good, indeed. So just for reference, we'll be doing this at the beginning of every webinar. So you will really have the chance to iterate and refine and practice your pitch as we go along, as you'll discover more insights, explore your idea better, iterate. Yeah, you'll really start crafting the pitch more and more. And of course, in the last session, we'll really take the essence of, you know, all these pitch prototypes, distill them down, and start crafting a really excellent pitch with you guys. Salem, I saw that you raised your hand. I
want to talk about my idea if we have time.
I think for now, just looking at time, I'm afraid that we do need to move on, but let's keep you in
Okay.
mind for next time, okay? And then
Okay,
we'll make sure that you go first.
thank you, no
Sounds good?
problem. Okay.
Okay, excellent. We did get one question about what is the color coding here? The color coding matches, where is it? Whoops. Matches the app business model canvas. So what we saw beforehand, exactly, we have the blue corner, the purple color, and the yellow underneath. And the very magenta colors, those is just like the structure around it to really, you know, craft a good narrative and a story about it. All right, so today we really are focusing on exploring your ideas. Clearly see that, you know, you all now have like an idea on paper, but of course there is still so much more to discover, to explore, to do more research. Some of you guys really already in a state where you are quite advanced. However, here again, doing additional research, understanding your users better, benchmarking other competitors is always a really beneficial thing to do. That being said, this is what we're going to focus today on the business app model canvas. So we're going to look at current solutions, competitors. We're going to look at what the problem is actually that you're trying to solve and the target audience, how that reflects in of course, like the pitch prototype or the pitch canvas is really the challenge and solutions. So without further ado, really what we want to accomplish by the end of the session is to make sure that you guys have a really differentiated value proposition or understand what that means. You understand the focus of, you know, having a key user, understanding what their key user need is, benchmarking, understanding who your competitors are, what apps or what alternative solutions already exist in the market, and get all the tools and techniques to do exploratory research, as well as leveraging AI in doing that. Sound good? Okay, then I will now hand over to Elmo, who's already standing right next to me to really dive into the subject matter of exploring your idea.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Christina. Hello, everyone. Excited to be here. This is the first session, so it's also the session where we will start thinking, like laying a little bit the foundations of our idea, right? So we saw when we asked about the pitch, what it makes a great pitch. Some of you said, like, well, you know, like the problem, we need to have a clear problem that we're solving, an important problem that we're solving. So that should be an important part of the pitch. And I agree. I would say actually, like, we need to solve a real problem for real users. But also we need to solve it in a way that is differentiating. We have to realize that our customers, our users have many options to solve their problems or to fulfill their needs. And we would like to do it in a way that stands out from the competition, from other solutions. And in order to be able to get to a differentiating proposition, as we call that, yeah, we really need to understand, okay, who are the users that we're actually targeting? And what are their needs? What are their concerns? What are they trying to accomplish? And also, like, okay, but what other solutions are out there? So today we'll focus on that. It's a crucial part of your pitch, and to make sure that we explore a little bit more, like who our users are, what their needs are, and like what other solutions are out there. So we use a tool there which we call a value proposition canvas, and honestly, it's a set of the app business canvas. We use it now. We create a separate canvas for you that you can also download from the competition platform. It helps you to have a little bit more focus in the beginning, to work on your differentiating proposition, as we call it. But let's first start with a Menti. So if you scan this Menti with your phone, you will go into a Menti, which is an interactive a tool to like interact a little bit more with you guys. You can also do it on your computer if you go to menti.com and then put in this code 86129356. You know, you should be able to get in. So
You stop sharing, I can start.
yeah, I'm gonna, how do I do it? I do stop share. So we just go to the Menti screen. Yeah. So I'm just assuming that you are all in. Most of you are in. Yes, we see some thumbs up. So again, if you didn't find the time to scan the QR code yet, you can do that now. Sophia's in. I see people playing around with the thumbs up button, always fun. We'll be using Menti a couple of times throughout the session. It'll be the same Menti, so you can, during the session, you just can stay logged in if you want. Yes, and people pressing it. All right. Okay, let's move forward. I think that most of us are there. So maybe the first question for you to answer, like, with your idea, do you have, to what extent do you have a clear target user in mind? Do you have one target user in mind, or are you thinking of multiple different users? Or maybe you don't have a clear view yet. That's also possible. We're in the early stages, perhaps. Yeah, most answers are in. Okay. 8 people are still thinking, maybe. All right, so most of you seem to have like multiple user groups in mind, and some don't know yet, so that's okay. This is both like could be good reasons to maybe do a little bit exploratory research, to understand who your target groups are, or maybe who the main target groups are. So maybe the next question then that we have for you. So, okay, so you might have a clear user group in mind, or maybe multiple, but what about the need that you're addressing with your app? Or your app idea? Yes. Some more answers. I'm very happy to see that most of us have a clear user need in mind. That's good. Because like typically when we focus on a clear user need, it'll be easier kind of to launch and sell the app. It'll be also easier to have a focused app that has clear functionality that addresses that need. Very nice. Yes. Move on to the next one. So we talked a bit about competition. So the next question is related to that. So to what extent are you aware of alternative solutions, competing solutions? Yeah, all right. So most of you feel that you have a good overview of the competition out there, which is I think is also a good thing. But you know, you could always wonder, do I have the full overview? I've actually never seen any organization or team that had like know exactly all competition that's out there, and that's okay. But having a good view is quite important to, of course, have a differentiating proposition to know how you're going to be unique. Let's go to the next one. All right. So also to think a little bit about apps then. So if you think about yourselves, right? Because we talked about our target users and competition. So how many apps do you guys have on your phone? So you can just put number in there. So we get a little bit of an idea of what the answers are. 20, 20 plus, 30, more than 50, 62, you know. So, and we can, it's safe to assume that like most of our users that we're thinking of will have many, 10,000, many apps on their phone, right? Over 100, more than 50, but we typically see indeed like 50 apps is not strange these days, right? So you're already competing against 50 other apps that they're using, which might not serve the same goal, but definitely is what we could call is also competing, right? It's competing for their time, for their attention. Yes. Yeah, we just move on just to give a little bit of an idea. This is actually the same question. Yeah.
But it should be how many apps do you use on your
Yeah, so this, I think this is a duplicate question, but let's change the question a bit and say like, out of those 50 apps, like which ones do you actually use? Like how many do you actually use? Yeah. Four. Yeah. Six. So like we changed the question a bit in the meantime, so that's why we get a little bit different numbers. but I already see like the amounts are going down. So, you know, the amount of apps that you actually use are typically way less than the ones that you have on your phone, right? So I'm gonna go back to the presentation. So I go back to share mode. So thanks for sharing your insights there. So the reason why we asked this is that it's good to realize that it's really hard to stand out there. You know, so people have on average more than 80 apps installed, but they only use a few apps regularly, and these are only the apps that are adding sufficient value to them. You know, so we have to find a way, like, how can we create an app that can compete against all these 80 apps that people have on their phone? So that's kind of the challenge that we have, right? Now, in order to get there, we need to think about something we call a value proposition. Now, and the value proposition is defined as follows. It's a unique solution, so a unique app that addresses a specific problem for a specific target customer. Why specific? Because if we try to solve multiple problems, it might not be clear to the customer, okay, what are you trying to solve for me? It might also not, you know, we might not be able to have the best possible solution. If we try to solve multiple problems, the solution might be maybe a little bit like a Swiss Army knife, a little bit of everything, but really nothing doing it the best possible way. And also a specific target customer, because if we try to target too many customers, like our customers might not recognize, that we're trying to reach out to them specifically. So the more specific we can be in our target customer and in our problem that we're solving, the more clear it will be for our target customer what we're trying to do, the more easier it will be for us to appeal to them and have the right app for them. And of course, we have to solve that problem in a way that is believable and credible to them. So we can say we're going to solve it, but will they believe that we actually will do it in a way that is useful for them? So that's all part of the value proposition. And you can already kind of imagine, like, okay, but if I need to do that, then I need to know more about my customers. I need to know more about what needs and goals they actually have and how they think, right? Because otherwise, how do I know that it's going to be an app that they believe is going to help them, right? So the value proposition canvas, you can download this one from the competition platform. And today we'll focus more on the first part, like, who are my target customers? What is the customer insight? And what does competition look like? So let us dive a little bit into what these things are. So first of all, a target customer. A target customer, and you know, we know target customers like they are a group of customers, right? So in the past, often at times you said target customers were defined in terms of demographics, so certain age groups or income groups. But in these days, when we're trying to solve problems for real users, we often see that we're trying to group customers and users in terms of their needs. So what are they trying to do? But especially in the way they behave. So we're very interested to know, like, what drives them in that behavior. What is the reason why they have these needs? So we're trying to create target groups of people that have similar attitudes, similar needs, like have this, you know, like live in the same similar context or situation. So we have to search for our target groups here. You could also, in some cases, especially in apps these days, we can have multiple target groups that are very differentiated, and that's because many times, like, we see platform kind of apps. Careem is a good example, right? So on the one hand, you have the people that need a ride. Careem is similar to Uber in that way. So people that need a drive to somewhere, but that's a target group. But they also have the other target group on the other end of the spectrum, which is like people that actually like want to use their car and you know, like, provide these rides. So then in this case, then you would have two distinct target groups. on both ends of the spectrum. And they both they have a separate value proposition. So we're doing something different for these different target groups. So that actually means that the value proposition always has one target group in there. Now, and then the second part that we want to think of is what we call a customer insight. Sometimes it's referred to as the need or the problem that we're solving, but the customer insight is a little bit more profound in the sense that we're trying to find something what we call a deep truth about the specific user or customer that describes the root cause of a single big problem. And a problem is always a combination of a need or a goal that a user has and a barrier. So like if I have a goal but there's nothing stopping me from accomplishing it, well, there's nothing to be resolved, there's nothing to address. So there's always a need or a goal in combination with a barrier, something that stops the user from accomplishing that need or goal fully. So we have to think about needs and barriers, and we also think about the root cause. We would like to understand like what is driving that goal or needs. So often we say the problem behind the problem that we want to discover, because then like the deeper like the root cause we have, the more value we're gonna add to the user. Often at times we also think about how this need sits within the life of that customer. You can imagine that often at times customers, they try to like reach bigger ambitions, aspirations, goals in their life, and all the smaller things they do in life they're due to accomplish these bigger goals. So we also want to think a little bit about that as well. And that basically means that, again, we need to have really, really deep user understanding of, to formulate a customer insight like this. So I'm not going to go into too much detail here, but this is how we formulate a customer insight. You can download this tool also from the platform, and it's just a tool that helps you formulate like precisely what the problem is you're addressing. We also have some examples for you for Kareem, the Kareem app, as well as the ClassPass app, so that you have a reference on how a user insight looks like. So ClassPass as well, you can download that after the session. So let's have look at some customer insight examples. I'm just curious. I explained it really quickly. So we go back into the Menti. If all's well, most of you would still be there. Otherwise, maybe we go back to. Should I stop sharing?
Yes, I can see that. There we go.
Stop sharing. I'm gonna switch over. Yeah. That one, yeah.
Whoops. Just see.
Yeah.
That's 1%. Okay. Make one in. Right. Okay.
Yeah. So this is an example, right? So it's a product. I'm not sure if it's called the same everywhere, but it's like a deodorant, right? So Axe in many countries is called Axe. In some countries it has a different name.
Thanks.
Axe. Yeah. But what could be the insight here? So insight being like, okay, for what is the specific user need or goal that we're addressing? In the UK, it's links. Thanks, Robin Philbin there to make that clear to us. Desire, yes. Feel confident, yes. Luxury, power, fresh, yes. The example that we're looking for, Ilyas, is like there is a deodorant for specifically focused at younger males, like guys, basically. Yeah, self-care, protection, yeah. Masculinity, good smell. Yes, very nice. You know, like the actual insight with this deodorant is slightly different. So you could say like, oh, deodorant, like the functional benefit is that you feel it's like you feel fresh. It's self-care, like these kind of things. These are more functional benefits, right? But the insight is different. So they're targeting young adolescent males. And what happens with young adolescent males is two things: is they get interested in girls. That's one thing. And they start to smell, right? So that's the insight. So they want to be attractive to girls, but they start smelling because of the hormonal changes. So they start to feel really inconfident. So as one of you said, like confidence, like being inconfident, like around girls, that's the real insight, and that's the real problem that it's solving. So the promise is with Axe, you will feel confident. Yeah. We have another example. So this is another example, it's a washing agent. So what could be, if you go to the next one, what could be the insight behind this campaign? So you saw a washing agent with a small girl playing in the mud. Fresh cleanliness, washing clothes. Discover your hobbies. Yeah. Easy care. Effectiveness. Stain removal. Stain-free clothes. So actually, you know, the observation I have is that we tend to think about like the needs more in terms of functional benefits, right? But the insight here is deeper. There's a deeper emotional insight here, and that is, and that's in their research they found that parents find it actually quite important that their children can like play and learn by playing and learn by discovering. And it's totally fine to get dirty doing so. So, you know, and the insight here is like, okay, I want my kids to do that, but I also need to be able to like clean the stuff after they've done that. So the promise here is, okay, with this washing agent, your children can just learn and play however they want, right? They can discover the world. Don't worry about it. So slightly different than just clean and feel free. You see that there's a more emotional insight here. Like, why is it important to wash the clothes? Well, because we want our children to play, you know, and because we want our children to play, that's the real insight. So you see that we need to dig a little bit to understand what is the real insight behind a need. And this is the same for your apps, your app ideas. If you understand what the need is behind the need, let's say, you'll be able to come up with much more appealing solutions. All right, so let's switch back here. I think is it?
Yeah.
So thanks for sharing there. So that's one side of the thing. So we need to really understand like our core customer and really understand what is the need and even maybe even emotional need that they have to appeal to them. And the other side of the thing is, of course, well, they have a wealth of solutions to choose from. So like what type of competition does exist, right? So in fact, there's three types of competition, you could say. One is current solutions. people try to kind of deal with the problem already today, even if there's not an app, or even if there's no solution at all, they try to work with it. So they have that problem. It's very rare that people just accept the problem. They work around it, typically. So current solutions are often like what we is like band-aid solutions. So they try to work around the problem. So they're doing something today. So we need to understand, okay, what is what they do today? Then there's alternative solutions, so competition, you could say. And then there's also two flavors of that. So you have direct competition. So these are similar solutions. So you're developing an app. So direct competition is other apps, right, that do the same thing. So that we call direct competition. But there's also indirect competition. And we've seen a little bit already. There's 80 apps on this phone, and they're all competing for your time and attention. So that's indirect competition. There might just be other apps that solve more important problems, and you have to compete against those too. Indirect competition, in that sense, is often forgotten. We forget that people have other options to spend time, effort, and money on. So it's also good to have a view of that. So we're going to go back to the Menti, because I guess you know Kareem. It's the local version of Uber, and I just want to give it a try and see like how you would look at Kareem itself and what the competition of Kareem was and is. So we're switching back screens here. Yes, so still everyone is in, very good. So Kareem, the rideshare app, let's focus on that one. So if we think about current solution, and in this case, the app already exists, but so let's think about like what were people doing when there was no rideshare app? So how were they solving their problem of getting from A to B? You know, so what were they doing? Public transport, yes. Very good. Taxis, of course. Other apps, maybe carpooling, of course, yeah. You just ask someone, yeah. City taxis, walking, yes, of course. They would just like, okay, I need to. Well, walking in the UAE might not always be feasible, given the climate, but yeah, maybe, yeah. Yeah, food delivery, so like also not going and get it delivered to your place. Yeah, very nice. Let's move on. So what could be examples of direct competition of Kareem? And direct competition again is like apps or solutions that offer the exact same benefit. Uber, yes, that's a very clear, like very clear direct competitor. Bolt, direct competitor. Talabat the same, huh? Genie. City taxi, yes, it's also direct competition. Someone that gives you a lift is direct competition, yeah. Lyft is also an app, yeah. I was thinking. It's true. I was just thinking like someone gives you a lift, yes, yeah. Django, very nice. So like direct competition is easy for us to imagine, right? So let's now try indirect competition, like the next one. So what could be indirect competition? So it's not offering the same benefit, but it does compete. You drive, bot team. I don't know bot team, but yeah, delivery apps are a good example because they're not giving you the possibility to transport yourself. They do kind of do the opposite, right? So they allow things to be brought to you. So that's more like indirect competition. Video conferencing is also indirect competition for Kareem, because I want to go. Let's say if it's for me for for my job, I have to travel the city. So I could use Kareem, or I can do a video call. So there you see that a video call becomes indirect competition in that case. Yes, social media, of course. Don't go anywhere, just go on social media. Very nice. Yes, so this, I tried to give you a little bit insight. Indeed, Zoom is in direct competition, very good. I get a little bit of insight, like what we're looking for when we're doing our competitive landscaping. And thinking about competition like this will help you to better understand what you're up against. And it will also help you ultimately better understand how you can be better than all this competition. So back to. So yes. So again, we have some examples of value proposition canvases for both Kareem and for ClassPass. I won't go into detail, but you will see like examples of how that could look like, so that you can download this for reference, right? So you can use it to say like, okay, this is the kind of information that I need to kind of compile. Right. So with that, we are well in for an hour. We promise you a 5-minute break. So let's do that one now. Yeah. Oh, why does it look small? Yes, see you in 5 minutes.
People are slowly coming back. Fantastic. Welcome back. Hope everyone has their coffee, was able to take a small walk, tend to a few things. And so yeah, let's get back into it. Let's get back going. Wait, that was the wrong way. There we go. So for those people who were part of our first webinar, October 15th, maybe you guys remember the slide where we said 80% of all innovations and apps fail. Maybe just post in the chat, do you remember why? Does anyone remember the reasons that we stated for this? Apparently nothing. Okay. And everything up. Yeah, I think that sums it. That is definitely one way to put it. Yeah.
Don't solve the problem, you see.
Don't solve a real problem.
Yeah.
Really nice. Okay. Well, what we said is really that, yeah, does not really focus on well-defined target users, but it also really doesn't focus on very concrete real user and business needs. It's complicated, you know, doesn't have a clear business model, no clear roadmap, so really rush really fast to technical solutions. But there's also only user involvement after launch. And so what we really want to emphasize is involve your users early on, involve them already as you're researching your idea or as you're, as you're prototyping. But yeah, we said, some of you guys already have a very clear user, like one target user group. One of you have multiple target user groups. A few of you just have one need that you want to answer. A few of you have multiple needs. What really is important to emphasize is that really an app should really have, a very well-defined target user and a very well-defined, need that you want to accomplish. And of course, even in the first webinar that we had, as we gave you guys that ChatGPT prompt to enter, understand what are 5 alternative solutions that exist in my area. And I think also what Elmo now said made it really clear that with all apps that we know, there are so many different variations and so many different competitors. I really second with him on the idea or with the notion that you won't know all of your competitors out there, and you all won't know really what your users truly need or really want. That's why it's also really important to just talk to your users before the launch, and as you go along. So, and that's really about exploratory, research. So you really want to reduce the uncertainty, involve your users in guiding the next steps, and really, really distill and focus your customer insights. So yeah, as just said, no idea exists in a vacuum. You saw that as well when you tried it. There are so many different app ideas that might be similar to yours. You need to explore what's out there. You need to see what these competitors are doing. What are their USPs? How can you differentiate to explore and offer something new? And indeed, exploratory research gives you signals. It's not proof. So it's really exploring, understanding what's out there. It's indicative. It's giving you a direction of what's already there and what maybe might be existing gaps in the market and gaps in what users need but don't have yet. So looking at what alternatives are available when we look at competitive benchmarking. So yeah, I think this is what we already mentioned beforehand. You have the 3 different types of competition. You need to identify the unique value of each competitive solution. So really understanding what is their differentiating promise, what makes it really special that they're offering that really appeals to their users, what is really their USP, what gets people coming back and reusing that app, and identifying, as I said, identifying those USPs. What else do they actually promise? What else are they selling? What else, gets people coming back? Then, understanding your key customers. So once we, have an overview of our competitive landscape, also need to understand what is your key customer. So yeah, you might have a few target groups, and you ideally per target group have really like distilled one key customer that we'll develop a persona for. We'll do that in the next session. And you need to understand what are their key problems? What do you really want to solve? And this is now not in the right order, but we'll go in the opposite order then. So yeah, what is driving their needs? So what is their problem? What are they trying to solve? What is their long-term aspiration? How does your app and your solution step in to solve their problem? What is it that you can offer? You want to understand when do they use it? Why would they use it? What is their customer journey? What is their user journey in experiencing your app or a similar app? What are their opportunities? What are their pain points? What are the emotions underlying behind it? And yeah, first and foremost, of course, important, you need to define really who your target customer is. So who is the target group that you really want to develop this app for? And who can really benefit from what you're offering. Okay. So yeah, user research, of course, isn't just reading. It also isn't just scrolling through AI. We really emphasize that it's really important to actually talk to your user groups. So it's not just, family and friends or people in your circle or colleagues, but really understanding who is a potential user and how can we contact them and actually like have an actual connection with them. You want to see what they say, what they see and sense, what they do, what they feel and what they think. So we really, that's the core focus of empathy. We need to have that full-on idea of stepping into our user's shoes, really understanding their psyche, their behaviors, their goals, their attitudes, their beliefs, in order to understand how can we bring them to using the app that we want to develop? How is the solution extremely beneficial for them? Or even why are they using competing apps? What makes other things really relevant and enticing to them? Where are things, though, that might be uncomfortable for them or that they don't like, where we can develop a better or more efficient solution for? That being said, yeah, friends and family are a good start. Connect to real users, and this can be 10 to 15 short conversations. It can really be 10 minutes, it can be 15 minutes. If you really want to deep dive, you can go into 30 minutes. But really just getting an idea of what is going on with these users, what is going on with your key user group. And discovery research is directive. So it's really only giving you a few ideas or the first ideas. So we often also get the question when we do research, why don't you talk to 100 people about this? Or why don't you talk to 200 people? And that's not the point here. The point is to understand with your target user group, what is the overall thing that's going on right now? So this is all about exploration. Often if you only talk to 10 or 15 people, you'll already start seeing patterns that are emerging, repetitions that come up, trends that you can see. People have similar emotions going on. They're universal. In that sense, what they'll say and what they feel about certain apps or certain solutions will slowly start repeating themselves. And that's why 10 to 15, if you want to up it up to 20, is perfectly suitable. Doesn't have to be 200 yet. Don't worry about that. It's really just about, stepping into your user's shoes, understanding what they're doing, understanding what they're feeling, understanding why they would be interested in your app or another one, what is going on in their daily life. And with that information, we'll develop an even better app and a really thorough and fully delivered value proposition. Great. So of course, we're all about AI, and Andrea in a second will really deep dive into that. But we also wanted to show you really the quote unquote traditional qualitative research methods. So what else is out there for you to look at, or what other resources are there for you to, deep dive into? It can really just be people watching, shadowing someone. Of course, with an app, it's more difficult, but also visiting, streets, people's houses, listening to conversations, looking at what's going on in portals like Reddit or Facebook or any kind of social media forums, listening to any podcasts. Yeah, I think there's a myriad of solutions here, just to give an idea of where you can do research. to spark your interest. And it's really good, of course, to make a plan here. Also think about what portals, what sources could be interesting for you, which people do you want to talk to, and when are you going to do that in the next weeks? Of course, also, yeah, why do you want to talk to users early? Well, it's mainly like 2 or 3 things. One, most ideas fail not because of the tech or not because of what you're developing, but because no one really knows about it and no one really needs it. You need to create an app that actually provides real value to users, that, you know, gets them coming back, that provides actual, yeah, value in their daily lives, or, you know, when they need it, so to say. Discovery really helps you in that, to refine your direction before you actually build something. So if you think, oh, this is my app idea, and you know you're going to go straight into that direction, what if your users want something else actually? How are you supposed to know that if you don't talk to them and if you don't connect with them early on? Of course, the other benefit is if you talk to your users early on, you'll have a group of early adopters. You have people who are with you in that co-creation process of defining, developing your app, that you can then reach out again when you're prototyping and validating your idea. So it also is an extremely efficient marketing tool. You know, you can get them on early on. You can get them to become promoters. They'll feel excited about giving you feedback. You know, they'll be the first ones maybe to test it, you know, have the beta launched. So there again, it's really good to talk to users early on, get them excited about your idea, get them on the bandwagon, get them on the way. And of course, most importantly, user research is risk management. It's marketing, but also if you understand your users from the get-go, if you understand what they really need and what they really want, you'll also develop an app or solution that will really work for them. Otherwise, you're really risking, or, you get in the danger zone of really missing the target of what they actually need. So that being said, we're going to go back into Mentimeter. So I'll stop sharing. Here we go. We'll up back into Menti. And we just thought, let's think about this together for a while and see where will you find your target customers? Where will you find your key user groups? We'll just do a little brainstorm, help each other out here, because yeah, I'm assuming a few of you now, of course, have very clear ideas what you want to do with your apps, but where are your users? Where are areas where you can reach out to them? Okay, one person said school, social media, Instagram, corporate offices, IMDb. So of course, also different app ideas have, you have different sources, so to say, where your users are. Universities, just talking to people on the street, even that works.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Twitch, target B2B sales partner, network groups. So yeah, so you see that there are already like a lot of areas where you can connect to your users, a lot of areas where it'd be interesting to share. Let's go to the next question. So now we thought, let's do a small question storm. What can you actually ask your users? So when you're crafting, your interview guide, so to say, so a series of questions that you can ask your users. You want to think, if it's supposed to be a 10-minute interview, what are the 5 most important questions that you want to ask them about their experience, about how they want to navigate or use an app, and what area they want to use it. So yeah, go for it. Excellent. Yeah. Opinions. Yeah, you want to collect. Is this okay for you? You want these questions also still to be very open-ended. No yes or no questions. You want them to be open-ended. You want to get very more detailed answers of their experience, something personal. Do you feel the problem? Yeah, is this a problem to you? If so, then why? What are your pain points on using other apps, competitive apps? How much would you be willing to pay for an app? All really great ideas. So this was a really good start. I think you guys definitely have the tools, so to say, here to succeed. That being said, that kind of creates the end of the exploratory research part. So I would now love to hand over to Andrea if possible. And I won't share my
Yes,
screen.
hi. How is everybody feeling? We have 30 minutes to go. Are you still energetic, guys? 62 people here. So crack your fingers. We will do a little bit of exercises. So I hope I still have 30 minutes. It will be a sprint because we're running a little bit behind, so bear with me. I hope everybody can hear me. Yes? Amazing. Okay, so let me share the slides. So I will go through a couple of things. We will be with you for the next couple of weeks, and I am the AI ninja. So I will be showing you how to use AI in the different stages, from research to validation to creation of your CVP, using for UI UX, for creating a great video, to give you feedback on the video. But today specifically, we will be looking at a little bit of prompting and priming in the beginning, because I'm sure that between the 62 people, there are some who are super on steroids in terms of priming and prompting, and maybe some which are a little bit of beginners. So we will refresh the memory, and then we will do one exercise for doing research, and one exercise of helping you to understand how can you test with synthetic users and create the research itself. So one thing which I will ask you when you go into the ChatGPT, we will be using ChatGPT. If you have subscription to Gemini or Claude, please use whatever it's comfortable for you. If you don't have, I suggest ChatGPT is a really great option. I will show you how to do it. We will set up a project. So everything you do from a research perspective, it will be stored in one file. I would also encourage you that if you have already some documentation connected to your project, upload it there. And then we will always create a new chat under the project. I am speaking very fast because I'm very worried about the time, but I hope you are with me. As I said, it's a sprint. Okay, so you can write in the chat as well. I can't see it really right now, but I'm sure that Christina and Elmo will help me here. I want to talk a little bit about the anatomy of a prompt. Anatomy, it's like a human body, right? So if you put a wrong prompt or a weak prompt into the system, you will have a weak output. One say it in a very simple manner, rubbish in, rubbish out. So when you think about a prompt, I always want you to think about multiple different levels. And don't worry, you will get the copy of this, and I will also post in the chat. So number one is, what do you want? What role do you want the model to play? Do you want it to be a designer, a researcher, a creator, whatever it is, or just simply a moderator? Also, what is the context in which you are asking the model to operate? Are you creating something only for GCC? Can you give it the information about the idea of a problem you're trying to solve? What is the task you are asking the AI to do? Because if you don't, it will just try to please you. That's how the models are trained, right? So define a role, give it a context, give it a task, and also give it limitations. If it's some things which you don't want it to do, or especially in research, you can be very specific and say, I only want the reliable sources. I don't want you to give me information coming from Instagram post and the news from Timbuktu, because the large language model doesn't know if the information is reliable or not. And of course, you need to validate. And lastly, give it how do you want it. It's like Instagram. If you don't give it the output format, it will just let you scroll endlessly, and then you will have a really big difficulties to find what you want. So let's do it in a manner where I give you an example, I show you how, and then you will practice. Everybody good? Give me some thumbs up. Yes? Okay, perfect. So I call it feed it, prime it, feed it, prompt it. So priming means you set the stage. Really explain who you are, what you want the role to play. provide as much details about the current idea of a scenario, and describe the problem you are trying to tackle, and also the audience you are trying to address, right? So I will show you what I mean. So this is an example, and I decided to work on a problem with you as we go across these weeks so that you can see that this is not, you know, predefined, pre-prepared. So I'm giving it a role. It's an idea I was working on, and say, you are a luxury sustainability strategist and AI product designer, helping me, I am the founder, to build high-end startup which redefines fashion ownership through AI and circular economy principle. That's like a high level. My goal is to enable affluent clients to reuse, restyle, and resell items which they already own through premium concierge experiences, and merging the wardrobe using AI styling and luxury resale. So now I primed it. I didn't ask it yet what I wanted to do, but I gave it, you know, it's ultra high net worth individuals, what I'm trying to do. So that's the priming. So when you look at your idea, I think one of the gentlemen had this fantastic idea about gaming. I worked on many gaming projects, especially in Saudi and UAE. So you will obviously give it, this is what I have in mind. I want to tackle the market, you know, which is underserved. In Arabic, this is what the game it's about, and this is what my inspiration about. Then you feed it a relevant information. So for example, you provided relevant data which you already have, which could be data around your competition. It could be data about the systems you want to use, or you give it, if you already have a PowerPoint, or if you have a PDF or Word document with some high level ideas, you just put it out there. So how would it work for me? Remember, I primed it. I told it I want to create this solution for ultra high net worth individuals with white glove concierge services. So what I'm feeding it, and you can see this is quite a big prompt, right? And I did it on purpose so that you can see, you can pick, you don't need to do all of it, and I put it in the chat where I say, okay, my context to you is I am after ultra high net worth. It is a subscription-based concept. This is white glove teams who come to your house, monthly rescanning of the items. I want API integration to resell platforms. And it also should have AI to mix and match the outfits. And I want everything to be very elegant, very exclusive. What are the constraints? I don't want the ultra high net worth customers to scan or photograph anything. This must be fully managed service. Everything must feel effortless. Privacy discretion is critical, and tech stack must support visual recognition. Many of you will not be in that level of details in your idea, but it shows you that when you want something to be enhanced, because that's what I will ask the engine to do, I already have idea who I am after. I have idea what I'm trying to solve and how it should be structured. So now I'm feeding it the information. And I come to the last thing. Now I told it what I want. I gave it constraints and information. And now I'm saying, okay, what do I want the AI to do? I want to ask it to create, design, research, rewrite, correct, summarize, synthesize, whatever you want to do. How do you want to do it? You can say, give it to me in a table format, or give it to me as a strategy document. Give it to me as a graphic picture so I can visualize it, right? In what language do you want it? It should be in your language, or it should be creative, or it should be in a language of a consultant. So my output format here is, I want a strategic concept paper, so a full paper written with executive summary, problem statement, target audience, solution overview, technology stack, revenue model, the impact of ESG, competitive landscape. And also, I'm always asking, if anything I do, I say, you know what, tell me what I didn't think about. Tell me what questions do you want to ask me to make it better. And I love it because it always gives me questions which I obviously didn't think through. And I answer always the questions and then will improve the output, right? So what we will do, we will look at the prompt together right now. So what I will want you to do, I want you to write a prompt yourself. I will put into the chat the example of a prompt. Just give me a second. The prompt which I just showed you. Of course, you don't need to use my prompt because this is just an example. Let me see if I can access the chat right now. If not, I will just pause. But ultimately, what I want you to do, I need to stop. I will put the prompt inside here, right? And I think I have some limitation in terms of numbers, but what I want you to do is I want you now to go, okay, the chat doesn't allow me to upload everything, but you will get the beginning, right? Okay, it doesn't allow me. So it doesn't allow me to upload the prompt because it's too long. But you could see what I did, right? So I want you now to go into ChatGPT and think about your idea and what you already have and ask it to write and refine the strategy paper which you already have, or refine the idea which you already have, and think about it in a manner where, let me show you again the role, share, give it a role, give it a context, and define what do you want to do as an output. So don't just say, give me an example, just be very specific. So I would use the example of that colleague of yours, which had the idea of gaming. So he can obviously go in and say, I really want to think, how would it work? How would I acquire my customers? How can I make it better? What would stop this idea to be successful? Describe the idea you have. If you have already a document, put it inside and then prompt it. So I will now do it with you in my own window. Can everybody see my window? Yes? Give me a thumbs up. I can't see in chat, so just do it physically. But thank you, Ibrahim. So you go here into projects. On the left, you should see something called projects. Can you see it? So in the project, I would say app development, right? So whatever your first session. Yeah, that's my name. So put it inside. Work with me as I'm doing it. Right? Everybody has that? I hope yes. Just give me thumbs up again. Okay. And then as you will see, and then I am putting my my prompt inside, right? So again, I gave it a role, I gave it a context, I gave it some constraints, so what I want, what it should or should not look like, and I also gave it how do I want the output to be, right? And then I press on do it. So, and now it obviously will start to already create a full document. So if you have an idea, whatever the idea is, if it is a gaming app, if it is a resale app, if it is a software as a service app, if it's a sustainability, whatever it is. So now try it. I don't have the timer in front of me because I was showing you my screen. We are already about 2 minutes in, so you have 3 more minutes. I will time it on my watch. I have a watch in front of me. So you have 3 minutes to go just to try your first prompt, and then we will do the same for research. Go ahead. You have 1 more minute to go. Okay, excellent. So now let's use the research before we skip to the next one. Just let me know in the chat inside how did your first prompt go? How different was it from your normal prompting experience? Just write it quickly in the chat and I will move on into the research part. We have a couple of more minutes to go. I will read your comments later. I can unfortunately not see it as we go. Okay, so Elmo and Christina went quite in detail about how important is it to look at competition and customer need analysis. So what I will show you now is how do you do a proper research into your competition and into your customer needs. So we go first into the prompts. That's the easiest way to go. So in terms of the prompt itself, again, you go from the role, right? So let's say you are a researcher. So you want the LML to ask you are a researcher. So in my case, you are luxury market research analyst, right? In terms of context, I repeat it, but I don't actually have to. In your prompt, you can say, think about the solution which we discussed above, or I can repeat the context if you start from zero, right? So in my case, I'm giving you an example here that I'm repeating the context, saying what I'm trying to solve, a startup for ultra high net worth, white glove, AI, primary markets, UAE, then Paris, London, Milan, New York. What are the constraints? Ultra premium. Now, I want the AI to conduct a comprehensive research study, right? Now, I am also asking him to do 3 tasks. That's very important in research. If you want the AI to look at multiple different things, say it task 1, task 2, task 3, right? That's really easy because then the model will remember what did you ask it to do. Or you do one by one. Otherwise, it becomes really, mixed up. So number 1, I want competitive landscape. I want to understand who is already there, who is doing it. Tell me how they're doing it, why they are successful, and also if they can find how where they funded, for example. Task 2 is I wanted to define who my user personas will be. How what would their behavior be? What would their pain points be? What are the existing behaviors? So what the model does is obviously scrapes the data from the internet and uses the publicly available data, but it gives you a good understanding. And the 3, you don't have to do that. But if you want to, obviously, because it's important for your business model, then you can also do market size and opportunity, so quantify. And the last is I ask it, how do you want the research to be delivered, right? Do you want it in a table? Do you want it in an executive summary? Do you want individual personas to be described in a persona map? So the same principle. I want you to exercise this muscle of prompting. Give it a role. Tell it why do you want it to do it. Tell it what do you want it to do it. And tell it how do you want to see it. It's very simple. Once you get it into your mind, it will be so automatic, right? So let's try it together again. And let's try the research document. I give you one tip. I do it all the time, and I should have tell it to you before, but I often use my voice on ChatGPT, for example, or Google AI Studio, where I say what I have in mind and what I want, and I said, I want you to create the prompt for me. So I did the design today, this morning. So I would describe what I'm telling you like in a human voice, and I say, I want the research. Write the research prompt for me. And it would write the prompt for you, right? So that's also possible. So in terms of a research, I want you to, because we don't have so much of time, you will have 5 minutes. I want you to go into ChatGPT and think about this again. I will put this into let me just copy this and put it into the chat. It's very difficult with one computer, I have to say. Where is it? Here we go. Do a research, right? So my research is obviously, I will see if I can put it inside. Again, it's a little bit too big, but I will make it. So remember, you wanted to give it a, you wanted to give it a row. You wanted to give it, what do you want it to do? Right? Let me just delete some of it so you can have some of these things. Okay, here we go. I am putting it inside, and you have 5 minutes to try it. Go into ChatGPT and say, you are now a researcher, and I want you to do a research on the solution which we talked about, and these are the tasks I want you to do. I will time it on my watch. And then I will show you how to do synthetic data validation. Does anybody have problems with the speed of ChatGPT because it requires a little more time for research? Just tell us in the chat. You have 2 more minutes. Last 60 seconds. Okay, guys, I hope you had a good run. I will show you one more thing. I think now Elmo was talking to us about the X deodorant. We've been sprinting so much with this research part that I think, all need the X now under our armpits. But we have one more to show you. Please tell me in the chat, how did you, what did you find out? What surprised you when you did the research prompt about what you're doing, for example, right? So please write it in the chat. I really want to read everything about it, and I will share all the prompts with you later. This is really just to show you. After this session, I am sure you will go much deeper. So are you ready for the last run? Yes? Okay, fantastic. Let's do this. Okay, here we go. So I want to, before I go, I want just to tell you one thing. Once you do a research, it's always important to validate it, because, you know, LMLs hallucinate and they're not always saying the truth. So once you get the research, especially if it's quantitative, please take it and put it into something like Perplexity or Google AI Studio and ask it to validate the data, especially if you want to then use it in your pitches or your strategy documentation. Super critical. The prompt for it is in the deck. You will be able to download it. Now, I want you to think about as well about the user research, and Christina spoke about it. So how can you use AI to do this? Number one, create research questions with AI. This is really, really helpful. So now, as you will finish your research, I will give you some prompts as well. You say, you know what, this is now, I need to interview real and synthetic users. Help me to create the questions. Also, please never take the first suggestions of questions. Always iterate and make it, let it work a little bit harder. Have a conversation with it. Now you can see two arrows, right, in the presentation. So if you look on your left, it says conduct interview with real users. I don't stop the using AI just for creating the questions. When you have the interviews with the real users, just ask them, say, do you mind me to record the conversation? And use either the voice app on the phone or have an Otter or Firefly, whatever AI tool you use, and simply record each of these 5 or whatever interviews you will do, okay? Once you have it, download these MP3 files into Google AI Studio, into the chat, and ask Google AI Studio to analyze all the responses and create the report with feedback recommendation for you. It's really magical, and it will give you a great insight to all the interviews. Number one. Number two, you take the same questions and you ask the AI to say, I want you to be 2 people at once. I want you to be a researcher, and I want you to be the person who we are trying to interview. So take on the role of the ultra high net worth person, right? And do an interview with yourself. Ask yourself all these questions across the different 3 or 4 personas, and then give me a report, and always give me feedback and recommendation. This is super helpful, especially if you can then combine the things which you found out from the real users and from the synthetic data. You will have surprises. What is also great in this is that it gives you recommendation how you could possibly enhance your idea. And this is something we will be doing next week. But what I want you to do, I know Christina and Elmo and Mariam and everybody will be kicking me out, but as long as I have the mouse on my hands, I just want to show you the prompt, right? So let me just show you the prompt. I think I have it somewhere. Just give it to me here. Just give me a second. So task 3 is create. I will put it into the chat. You can see it if it's not too long. Create a research question. this is an example of a prompt which you can do. So create a research questions. That's number one, right? And then you ask the engine to run the research. So if I take this and just quickly show you in a ChatGPT, and then I will end already and hand over back to Christina, because I'm sure they want me off the screen right now, even though I would love to spend some more time with you guys. I can see Christina. I know this is a visual hint, right? She's already on the screen showing me that I need to leave.
All good. No, take your
Okay,
time,
I'm not
Andrea.
sure why ChatGPT is not working with me now, but let's do a new chat. It's not working with me right now. I think it's overwhelmed. But ultimately, I will put the prompts. I want you to remember, just put in the chat as well. What is the things which you need to remember when you set a prompt? Just give it to me, guys. Come, speed. Just put it in. Role, context, constraints, what do you want it to do, and what is the output? Remember that. And when you have that research done, use AI to always validate, and also use AI to help you create the questions you want to ask the customers, record the interviews, ask AI to create the report, and then ask it to play this double role where it is, run the research. So I will just give you some prompts inside here, and I will give it to you also in a document. But with that, I think this is everything from my side. I ran a little bit over. I hope you enjoyed the sprint of the research. Please give me some feedback into the chat. Good luck. Our AI is super powerful, and hand over back to Christina. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks so much, Andrea. That was amazing. I think everyone is breathing out to recover from the sprint. There will be more to come. So if you want to learn more from Andrea, she'll be here more often. And we are so happy to have her on board. So yeah, let us quickly know also in the comments, what did you learn? What stood out to you in this session? What are the key insights that you are taking away? Prompt engineering, anything else? Okay, everyone is maybe still recovering from typing their butts off in in prompt engineering. Okay, great. Maybe then just to quickly sum it up to what Elmo started highlighting, the value proposition and the importance of really having very unique benefits, and find ways to really make your app and your solution special in the market. To do that, you really need to understand who is your specific user group and what is it that they actually need. You need to know who your competitors are, what are they doing, how are they standing out, what are they maybe not doing so great, so that you can differentiate yourselves from them. Exploratory research, talk to real users, but also use AI. Take your time now to, breathe and digest and recap what you just did with Andrea, and then do it on your own, more with your own apps, with your own tools, talk to users, simulate the user interviews. And with that, as a final note, we wanted to give you this. So in the end, it's all about human connections. So really, talk to real people, use AI. We have so many tools available. There are also more tools listed on the portal, of course. So take what you need to fill out everything. For next week, we will meet again next week, Wednesday, November 5th. We will be, please have your benchmarking insights and your user research ready. Have your user interviews conducted. Make sure that your app business canvas, starting to fill out form. Have your pitch canvas maybe iterated. Have a first go at the value proposition. Make sure that you fill out the quiz on the portal. And of course, have access to AI to run your research, and we'll take it from there next week. That being said, we also have some inspirational links on the portal for you guys if you want to explore, read more about research, how to think like a designer, understanding how that whole mindset works. And without further ado, let's go and see you guys next week.
Thank you. Ciao, ciao. Hi, Christina. Thank you very much. Elmo, Christina, Andrea. Thank you very much, all of you.
Thank you for your
Today we were a little bit running out of time for Q&A. So that I hope that maybe next week, if there is any question, we can leave Christina and Elmo a little bit of extra time. So if there is any question regarding the workshop. Regarding the questions about the competition, we are looking forward to see you all tomorrow from 3 to 4 p.m. Dubai time to answer all the questions that you might have regarding the competition. So I will just add here the link for the call for tomorrow, 3 to 4 p.m. It will be 1 hour, so it's the perfect time for you to get clarification on questions on the competition. But please, all the questions regarding the workshop, either or we use the workshop timing, or will be also once that we open the platform with the mentors, you will be able to book sessions for mentoring one-to-one with Christina, Elmo, and next facilitators that we will have on board. So you will get also the opportunity to get your questions answered. Okay, so is there anything else that Christina, Elmo, Andrea, you want to add? No? Okay, so perfect. So thank you very much, all of you, for joining us today, and looking forward to see you tomorrow. Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye, see you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy learning!